COVID get over? So I remember telling that कि never. तो बोला never मतलब? तो मैंने बोला because पोलियो तो आज तक भी हम वैक्सीन ले ही रहे हैं ना. Saying or writing affirmations is one thing. Now I am teaching here on how to write those affirmations to get into the manifestation process very easily.
What benefits do your customers expect from you, or do you tell them before you get into a session?
So the first thing that I will tell them is that it is self-discovery. You know what handwriting can say is what is going on in the person's life right now based on the experiences, the things that have happened in the past. For most 5 important people in your life is you, and you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Business Networking with Vipul Bondal. Today, I have a very special guest, Nitika Didwania. Nitika is a graphologist, a licensed NLP practitioner, social panorama practitioner, numerologist, and a DMIT consultant. That's a lot of things. She says she's passionate about empowering children and young adults to develop better handwriting skills and master the art of crafting their own distinctive signatures. Her expertise lies in partnering with business owners, supporting them as she guides them into identifying and conquering obstacles for their continued growth and success, and providing tailored strategies to overcome these barriers. Over the course of the last 5 years, she has dedicated herself to supporting individuals in their personal journeys, helping them navigate through difficult circumstances. Throughout this time, she says, she has worked extensively with individuals facing a wide array of challenges, including but not limited to anxiety, mental blocks, and a host of other deeply personal struggles. It's been an incredibly rewarding journey for her to witness their progress and the positive transformations that they have achieved. Her mission is mankind to mindkind, and to empower 1 million people through graphology. Welcome, Nitika.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vipul. It was so a pleasure coming here on your platform, and I am highly grateful, and thank you.
Right. So graphology is not something that everyone easily understands. Some people may have heard of it, but it's not something that, everybody easily understands. Very few people have a little understanding of it. So can you explain what is graphology in very simple words for our audiences to know?
Definitely. So yes, graphology is a jargon, or a word which is not very easily understood by people, is what I generally feel. Out of the 10 people I will meet, there will be approximately 6 to 7 people who will be asking me what exactly is this word, or they've never heard of such a word. There would be 1 or 2 people who are faintly aware of it. And
Right.
I will also find, I will not say none of them, because I will also find like one person knowing about it, saying that I had read a book about it or an article, or I wanted to do such a course. Or in fact, I have also met people who said, oh, I have done a small course on it, but never thought that you could do it full time. So
Okay.
that is how I have, and I can say, encountered people and knowing about
Correct.
science. Yes. So graphology, if I tell in very simple words, it is the art of analyzing or understanding, decoding your own handwriting.
Okay.
Now, how it happens, Vipul, is that, all of us in school were given the same books to write.
Right.
Example, the 2 slanting lines and the sleeping line is letter A for everybody in the world, whoever writes the English script.
Correct.
The alphabet. And
Right.
now, not even any two people, not even twins, have the same handwriting. It is because hand is a medium to write. It is actually called brain writing. Now,
Right.
what patterns or what waves are going on in the brain? How do you think, your personality, your behavior, everything is reflected in that pattern on the page.
Okay.
Decoding that or understanding that, I can say, reading that, the analysis of that is called graphology. It is
Okay.
the understanding of the handwriting, that how and why are you making these patterns this way, and how does it directly correlate to your life patterns.
Okay.
This,
And does the patterns more or less remain the same across geographies? I mean, if you were to, let's say, analyze somebody in some other part of the world, I guess the same concepts would hold true.
yeah, it is not limited to, because if you will say, I will also say, because in any part of the geography, humans are with two hands, two legs, with
Correct.
one head and one nose and two eyes. So that remains the same, and that is why
Right.
the handwriting remains the same, or the understanding of the handwriting remains the same. It is not different, although in different scripts. For
Correct.
example, in a I can say a Devanagari script, a Hindi
Yeah.
Marathi script, there are certain changes. Also, although I will also say around 10 to 11 common traits remain the same.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it
So
is very
it
much.
doesn't matter which script you use. It doesn't have to be English
It
alone
doesn't
or.
matter. In fact, we also, why graphology is also decoding drawings. So it does not doodles. For example, I'll tell you to draw some flowers and I can doodle that. I can, I can say just decode that as well. That what are you thinking at the moment? Or
Yeah.
some other scenery or drawing. So it is analyzing everything, not just your. It is example, anything that you do on paper with a pen. I can
Okay.
analyze. So it
Okay.
could be anything.
Okay. Fine. So, I mean, let's kind of just go back a little bit in time, because I'm sure you didn't start out thinking that you want to become a graphologist, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't a career option when you began. So, can you tell us how you got to becoming a graphologist and, how you reached here? So, just a little bit about your
Well,
background for us.
if I go back and think, I just feel, it was very destined.
Okay.
Okay, that it was one course that I had started with, an afternoon course, and I
Okay.
coming from a commerce background, or I
Right.
can also say the roots go back to me coming from a I can say typical Marwadi background, and where we've always seen our elders, my parents, I can say my uncles, so everybody always helping others. Okay,
Right.
this is one thing which I can say is in my genes, that I will always want to help others in some way.
Right.
So when this came along a course, and I had just joined it as an housewife at home and afternoon course, and I was
Mhm.
like, why not? Let's just learn something new.
Okay.
And then it happened that because I needed a lot of samples as case studies, and I did it with my own family, and there were so many insights. I could understand that how are we signing this way, and it also
Right.
became people that, because I knew these people, that how
Right.
they generally behave, and seeing their handwriting also made me correlate with a lot of things which otherwise wouldn't have been, because if I will ask people, that would have been different. And this, so when a time came in life that I had to choose a career option, so this
Mhm.
came in very easily, because I was
Okay.
also working with children. So there were 500 kids around, and I would easily see their signatures, and everything was available. It actually, now if I feel, it feels like it came to me on a platter.
Came to you
Go
in a
ahead and serve the world. And then obviously it has become very lucrative for me now, that I feel very proud of calling myself Nitika Graphologist. So kitne baar I also feel it has become my surname.
It's
That
become
how.
almost like your surname. Okay, fine. Great. So, do you do only handwriting? I mean, do you do handwriting analysis or you do signature analysis? I mean,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
these the same or two different
No,
things?
very two different things. It is like, handwriting is what we are showing to the world
Right.
we are, and a signature is what we actually are. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are different
Interesting.
kinds of personality a person has. A
Okay.
signature is your identity, how you are, how you think, how you behave, how you actually are, I can say your personality traits, everything can be seen in a signature, which in a handwriting, it will be what information you are giving to the outside world. That is what
Okay.
the handwriting and the signature difference is.
Okay.
So it could be many a times that the size of the handwriting, for example, I'm giving you one
Right.
thing here, the size of a person's handwriting would differ than the size of their signature, although it is the same letters that they're writing, but it would differ, or many more. But this is like one thing which we generally see, is the size same, or is it
Hmm.
bigger, smaller?
Okay. Interesting. I mean, so you're saying, what we want the world to see, we normally write that way, and
That is,
signature is actually what is unique to us.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's interesting. And then you actually go about analyzing that person's traits, right? As a result.
Yeah, everything. The person's confidence, what fear they're having, if they're using self-sabotaging words, if how is success coming to them, what is growth for them, how are their relationships, all of it I can just see. And you can, it's been many years now, so it does not even need a lot of time. I can see things and see how is their planning, execution, what is their confidence level, and it goes on certain
Okay.
things.
Can you throw some light on, I mean, let's say you get a script. How do you actually get into figuring out the person's traits? I mean, if you can, tell us a few
Sure.
examples, let's say leadership
Oh,
or,
yes.
you
So,
know, some
Vipul,
of
to
these things.
start with, what I will also, tell you here that, after I say all of these things that, I can, and there also comes a point where people start feeling, I can say intimidated. What
Right.
all will she come to know? So, I want to tell the viewers also here, it is a very confidential topic. It
Sure.
does not go out of the table, or, I can say out of the screen, whatever we have a talk on. It would be
Okay.
a case study for me. So, because when I'm seeing somebody's handwriting, it is actually opening up that person's life. Okay.
Okay.
Certain things which even I can say they don't know so much about them would come up, and then we would have a discussion. So,
So can you give us an example of, I mean, you don't have to take names, of course, but,
yeah.
of something like this that have happened. So,
So, I have this very famous story which I have said. I will just share it.
sure.
It is something, to tell you here that we generally feel that, we are missing out on something. We feel it could be that there is something else, which actually is the problem area. So, I will tell you this story about there was this one PR person who had referred me one director. Okay,
Okay.
he's a Bollywood director, and I will not take names here. And, in fact, I did not know him when I met him. He also asked me, Q, you've not Googled me. So I said, sorry, sir, I was not knowing your name. Possibly, I know the actors and not the directors.
Okay.
And a good person who was facing some trouble. And
Okay.
he came to me, he told me, Nitika, I'm looking for growth. So could you help me? Many of I can say people around have known this story for a long time, but I will repeat this again. So what happened? I looked at his signature, and, I asked him directly that, with obviously I do take permission before I ask people that, I will be as crisp and as direct as possible. I will not sugarcoat words, or, because here we are onto improvement. And
Correct.
when I asked him that, there is something which is, your relationship is going outside your marriage. And he was so shocked. He told me, Nitika, this, except for me, nobody in the world knows. It is not even on Google. There has never been any news outside. So how did you come to know that is firstly what I want to say. And I showed him.
Okay.
If I bring up such a thing, obviously, I will have to gain that. So I showed him, see, your relationships are not going proper, but your desires are complete. So there is obviously something you can, and I don't want to know. So it is very content free. I would not want to know that, what exactly is happening, or, is that person having a guilt? It was just showing in his signature that there is something
Yeah.
which he's very guilty about also.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
we did a small correction. This session happened on a Saturday, and after 4 days or something on Wednesday, when he sent me his I can say handwriting, I told him certain changes to do, and when he sent me, and I saw that, oh, already the changes begin, and I called him up, and he told me in a very filmy tone, Nitika, I want to tell you that, I wish I can put your picture here in my office, so that, it gets reminded to me every day. I have just closed a 14 CR deal. So
Okay.
thanks to you that, I'm out of that female's life now, and, I've settled her for good. Everything is good, and thank you for showing this to me, that every time she was coming with me for a meeting and it was not closing. So I am glad that this came up, and because when you're saying this, I'm sure it will remain always under closed doors. So,
Okay.
and then, now I don't want a testimonial for him, or, I want something. It is, when I've changed his life, I've changed something. It makes me feel very peaceful, and, I think this is the mission what it is on. That
Okay.
let me bring an impact on somebody.
Sure.
So
Likewise, other challenges. I mean, for other people, there could be some other challenges that they deal
yeah.
with. And
Lot of challenges. For example, somebody having some kind of fear, somebody not having confidence before exams with teenagers when I work.
yeah.
Then I can say somebody at home who wants to start working again. Then somebody who would be having some issue, a high profile corporate person who wants to start up on his own. So many. Somebody is not good with money relationships.
Right.
Lot of them. I can go on with lot of stories like this.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's a question which has come onto the community. So
Okay.
I'll ask you that question. So this question is from Siddharth Gupta. So the
Okay.
question is, what's the strangest thing that you've discovered in someone's handwriting? This is going to be interesting. The strangest thing that you discovered.
So the strangest thing I've discovered, I can say, so there are many, you know, so I
Okay.
will say this was a very strange story, which generally doesn't happen. So I think of that as something. Then I have also discovered very strange things like people want to, I can say grow a lot. Okay. They
Right.
say that, they want to close that big deal or they want that big offer coming their way and all. And it clearly shows in their handwriting that they want to remain in their comfort zone.
Right.
Okay, this is, I can say, one of the strangest things. I feel that there is no alignment what they want and what they are doing. It is like it is as simple as saying, and when I bring it up onto them, they are also wondering that if you feel that you want to go for you want to run a marathon and you're not getting up from your bed, how is it going to be? And this, as soon as I break this bubble, the things changes.
Okay.
So I could say this or many more.
So tell me, I mean, okay, fine, understood. So there could be a lot of things like this. So where what the person wants to do versus the reality of that person is totally different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, uh, but say, I mean, is there any strange thing that which, like you said, about this person who was having some relationship outside marriage, and he had not even told anybody, but
Okay.
you figured out. So are there any such interesting ones? I mean, need not be the
So,
similar, but
yeah, I can tell one. So, okay, I will tell you two about physical pain. So, we can also, when we see a person's signature, I can also tell if the person is having some physical pain in the body.
Okay.
Okay. So, two of these cases, I will tell you. One, what happened, there was this one uncle whom I knew. He was just trying to find out, what all can come to know through handwriting. So, he signed and I asked him, do you have neck pain? Okay, something. And he's like, I never had. And I was like, okay, it is showing that there is something, so no problem. And the next week, I apparently met him again. He was having a band. Okay. And I asked him, what is this? So he's like, oh, some years ago I had spondylitis and now, but I don't have it regularly. So I told you no that day. So it was there, but
It was there. Okay.
it was there. Okay.
So his handwriting was showing that he has some sort
He
of
has
a
some
discomfort.
pressure here. So when we see pressure here, we would see that there is. Or this, I recently did a session with a female in Paris. When I went to Paris in November, and I went to this BNI meeting where I met this female, and we were doing a session where now she doesn't know how to speak English, and I don't know how to speak French. So we were using the translator.
Okay.
Okay. And I happened to see in her signature that she has a leg pain. And I asked her, do you have leg pain? And
Okay.
she was translating. So, it was not able to catch. And then after 10 minutes or so, she asked me, by this, do you mean knee ache? So I said, yeah, I mean knee ache. So she's like, how did you come to know this from handwriting? So, and she said, yes, she has that knee ache, which I was saying as leg pain. So it was very much evident in her signature is what I can say.
Very interesting. So now you said that, there are certain people who want to make changes to these kinds of things, which you tell them. So do you also help with that part, or do you only stop at analyzing?
No, the entire game is in the change. Okay. So even from the first session, I will start breaking the bubbles, the blocks that are there around, and I will start giving remedies on how to, in fact, how to vent out, how to remove the blocks, and then how to add on the new things. So see, Vipul, what happens is saying or writing affirmations is one thing.
Right.
Okay. Now I am teaching here on how to write those affirmations. How should your T bar be? How should your letter A be? How should your letter Y be when you're writing those affirmations to get into the manifestation process very easily?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting. So who typically are your clients or your customers? I mean, the individuals or businesses? I mean, what is the kind? I mean,
Yeah, I generally say a person who holds the pen is my client. Okay,
Okay.
or it could be my client, a person who holds the pen. Now, when I will say a person whom you know around who's feeling stuck, who has some kind of fear, who's procrastinating, who is I will say not happy inside or wanting something and not getting it.
Mm.
Although confused people, they all are my clients. Or if you want to give me some titles, okay. So business owners of startup companies,
Okay.
or I will also say business coaches, trainers, corporate trainers, because they work on the process and the
They work on the
strategy,
process part.
and I will work on the mindset.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they become good people whom I work with. So we
Mm.
collaborate and work together.
Okay. Okay. And what benefits do these, I mean, do your customers expect from you, or do you tell them before you get into a session
So
or get into
first,
an
yes,
engagement, for example?
yes. So the first thing that I will tell them is that it is self-discovery.
Okay.
Okay. So what you know about your own self is just 5% of you.
Okay.
Okay. 10% is what you know that you don't know. We are
Okay.
generally always being critics even to our own selves. We know that, oh, I don't know this and I don't know that. So that is 10%. The rest, 85%, is you don't even know what you know, don't know. Okay. So let us understand. So many times some adverse scenario might happen in life and you might feel, oh, I already knew this. How could I do this? So okay,
Ah,
understanding these parts, that what are your actual skills, what
right.
is your your strengths, is what can come out of the handwriting analysis session.
Okay. So there's a question which, two questions, in fact, I'll take on the community. So one question is from Anand Sharma. So
Okay.
the question is, do men and women have noticeably different handwriting patterns? Okay. So that's
No.
question one.
Okay.
And second question is from Lakshmi Rajan. The
Okay.
question is, do graphologists ever work with therapists or psychologists? So you can
Yeah. Yeah.
take
So
it
the
in
first
English.
question. So by looking at somebody's handwriting, I can't say if it is a male's handwriting or female's handwriting. If the person is a right-handed person or a left-handed person, what
Okay.
religion, caste, creed, nothing of it can be understood. Male, female, so definitely we can't understand.
Mm.
I have had males also with very beautiful handwriting, females with, I can say, poor handwriting or something. So it does not, I can't say if whose handwriting it is.
Okay,
It's
fine.
a very generic thing. It could be anybody's handwriting. The first question's
Okay,
answer is.
right.
The second is, could you please repeat the question?
Okay, so second question was do graphologists work with therapists or psychologists?
Yeah, definitely. So I recently, I'm in touch with this psychologist with whom I was sharing that how simple things. So I will say psychologist is one step ahead than a graphologist.
Okay,
Okay. If I will see somebody not able to change the patterns that I am giving,
right.
I will also myself refer them to a psychologist. That
Okay,
please go there and get a physical session done, and then come on to see, because this is a very slow and I can say it is like homeopathy, allopathy types also. That this will also work. It will just be a little slower process
slow
when
process.
the intention is not very clear. If the intention is very clear, so then we can do a mindset shift very fast.
Correct. Okay. So, I remember our background discussions that happened when, you said that, graphology is not a predictive tool.
Yeah.
You said that it's actually a science with a proper reasoning behind the analysis. So can you explain that with an example so that we understand it well,
Yeah.
because
So
otherwise it comes across as something that is,
yeah,
not
I
something
can
that's
tell.
easily understandable. And therefore, is it something we believe in, we should not believe in, So
So
if
see,
you can just
yes,
talk,
believe or not believe is,
I mean, scientific evidence. What I mean is, because there is uh, little evidence or lack of evidence, people tend to be so.
it goes back to the days of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, where there were the courtiers who used to see handwriting and hire people for the court. Okay, so if
Aha,
you go back to the history of graphology in India,
history of.
it goes back to that level.
Okay, fine.
Many years ago. Now, if you say now, people also come to me and ask. I have a very funny incident where this pregnant female came to me and asked, what is the gender of my baby? I
Okay,
said, okay, I will not be able to
उसका
say.
handwriting लिखे हो.
हाँ नहीं, अरे handwriting बच्चे No, a person who can hold the pen is my ask. So this is not
Okay.
possible. So here I couldn't say, and there I was laughing over it. People can come with weird questions, but
Correct.
it is not predictive. So what handwriting can say is what is going on in the person's life right now,
Okay.
based on the experiences, the things that have happened in the past. If
Okay.
by handwriting I can say this person is very intelligent, is very good a friend. If the person doesn't want to study tomorrow and is not ready to, I can't say if the person can become something or not.
Mm-hmm.
That would go on to the predictive analysis. Will this person become in 2000? So I also remember a very funny thing when somebody asked me, okay, now because you've done all of this, tell me when will COVID get over? So I remember telling that कि never. तो बोला never मतलब? तो मैंने बोला because पोलियो तो आज तक भी हम वैक्सीन ले ही रहे हैं ना. So COVID will never go or something. It is not,
Correct.
we can't predict all of this, or this is, in fact, nobody could predict COVID and the
Absolutely.
lockdown. But
Correct.
people do come to me with such questions because they don't understand the difference between, they feel it is an occult science, although it is not. It is a pseudoscience. It is
Yeah.
based on research and development. It is also based on the number of samples that have been taken and identifying the similarities between.
So you basically check a pattern of behaviors or something like that, and then
Yes, definitely. And it's
can
very
you give
accurate.
us a few graphic examples? I mean, what is it that in when you see the handwriting, what is it that you look for? So particular way A is written or C is written or G is written. How do you? I mean, how do you make out? So if you can give a
So the first
few examples of that.
giveaway. Okay, so I can give this giveaway. The first thing every graphologist will see is the letter, capital letter I. So, okay,
I.
I, yes.
Okay.
It is a personal pronoun I.
Ah. Okay.
So the personal pronoun I. Now there are two types of, I can say, uppercase, which is generally called the capital letters, and the lowercase, which is called the small letters.
Right.
Now, a capital letter I, the general I, a standing line, two sleeping lines. This is what we generally first thing look at, is because the standing letter I, or the stem, how we call, that is you. The upper sleeping line is the mother. The lower sleeping line is the father. So
Okay.
this is the root of any graphology analysis, because the root, you are a fruit from some root, right?
Right.
So we will go and see that what is the root, how is the relationship with the parents, how is the support, what do you feel about them, how close are you to them, because all of us have, as you know, I also said that I'm a social panorama practitioner. Now it helps me understand that what we are is also because of the people that were around us when till we were 5 to 7 years of age. How is our
Right.
upbringing or the conditioning been? How have we been conditioned? So now
Right.
this plays a very important role, that firstly, I will look at the person's letter I, and then we will go on with anything else in an analysis.
Right. Okay. So, obviously, graphology or handwriting analysis is something that's used in helping improving relationships. Or I think you yourself mentioned, during the Maratha rule, they used to actually analyze the handwriting before enlisting their services, right? So how does that happen? And if you can explain. So, for example, how do you figure out whether a particular person is good for a job when you're hiring that person, or you know comes to you and you figure out that there's a problem in some relationship that they have, let's say with their spouse or with their parent? How do you figure that out through handwriting analysis, and how do you help them in fixing that problem if there is one?
Now, Vipul, these are too many questions at once for a graphologist.
Okay, so
I
you
will
can
just
address
tell
any
you,
one
yes,
of them. Okay,
no, I will just tell you briefly about it.
briefly. Yeah,
So
of
see, there
course.
are 16 modalities, okay?
Right.
Basic 16 modalities in graphology. So size, shape, pressure, baseline, spacing, lot of it, margins, lot of it, okay? Now, when you say, how do we understand recruitment part, okay? So I can see somebody's handwriting and see whether that person is an entrepreneur, a business mindset, a salesperson, or a teacher mindset, or straightforward. Okay,
Okay.
or will that person be
Fantastic.
somewhere into marketing or something? So we can analyze that very
You can
clearly.
analyze that. Okay,
Okay.
wonderful.
Now the second question, when it comes into the relationships part, it is about how are your relationships with first yourself. How is your relationship with yourself? As I earlier said, if somebody is using self-sabotaging words, it is your relationship with your own self is hampered.
Right.
Okay, if you keep saying, I've had people who can say, who can write, I am lazy, I am of no use, and because they've been labeled along. So how to remove that? So relationship with your own self. So now, okay, I will ask you, Vipul, why not? Let us do a small thing. Tell
Okay.
me, okay, in your life, tell me the most 5 important people.
5 most important people. Okay. So one is my wife. Second is my father. Third is my mother. Fourth is my son. And okay, the fifth one is very difficult. I think fifth one should be myself. Okay.
Okay. So here at least you said the fifth one is yourself.
Yeah, the only reason I said myself is because I don't want people calling me mera naam nahi liya.
So I also, yeah, it is good that whatever, but you could say yourself. I will say the most 5 important people in your life is you, and you.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
When you have a good relationship with your own self, when you have that self-love, when you are proud of your own self, when you're kind to your own self, is the game changer.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Then your relationship with your wife, your son, your parents, your friends, your siblings, your network around, everything is good if you are good with your own self. It is like what is
That's an insight.
yes, what is in your cup? Okay, if you are yourself filled with negative about your own self, how will you say something good about somebody else, or how will you build a relationship? So this
Okay.
is very easily understood in handwriting, and it is an easy change also, because people generally come to me with problems for others.
Okay.
So example, I have a problem with my mother-in-law. I have a problem with my son not talking to me. Okay, when people come to me, my son is not talking to me, and I ask them, how is your relationship with your parents? And they're like, wo chhod. I'm like, why? Wo chhod. Repair that and this will be good. It is like a chain going on.
Okay. Okay.
If you have some grudges here, how are you expecting the chain to go along? So repair.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. That's insightful. I mean, that's fantastic. Okay, one question from the community now, because
Yes.
I think your when you said I, and so Payal has a question here. Payal Agarwal has a question. So the question is, the uppercase I, if the uppercase I is written in a different way, in a different form, what will that mean? So, I guess what she means is, if you don't have that, one with
the stem. The stem is, everybody will always have. The
yeah,
stem is the
so
letter, the I. So,
correct.
we are there, so the I. If the upper and the lower case is not written, the upper line and the lower stem is not written, it could mean a lot of things. It could mean that we are physically distant from our parents. Possibly they stay somewhere else, we stay somewhere else. Okay.
Okay.
It could also mean the wavelength does not match. It could also mean they have passed away and moved to a higher space. Okay. Or if it is written in cursive or something. So see, it is very different for everybody. No two people will have the same I. Because
Right.
everybody is different. Now, what exactly somebody writes, I can see the handwriting and tell you.
Okay. So
It
it'll
is
be
also a
different for
combination.
different people
Yes,
also,
yes.
right? I
And it
mean,
is also a combination of, if I will see a very different letter I, then I will also go and check other letters to see relationships. And then I will see, okay, if parents ke saath, if relationships are wrong or something else. So
okay. So it's not necessary that if a person writes the I in a particular way, all the people who write that I in that way are the same, right? I mean, it could be
it
different.
could. So see, yes, the challenge could be similar. Okay, it is like, yes. So for example, a person who's having cough might or might not have fever. It is like that. Okay, so it is showing some challenge with parents. Okay, the I is written in a different way. Now it could mean anything. It could mean that the mother stays next door, but because we don't talk, there is a distance.
Okay. All right, very interesting. I hope that's answered your question, Payal. So if she has, then yeah, you can say. Otherwise, you can put another question, and we'll ask her that, right? Okay, so now a little bit about some of the cases that you have handled, right? I mean, Can you tell us the most satisfying or the most gratifying case that you handled?
So very recently, I had a case who's a female who's a corporate trainer.
Okay.
And at the moment, I can say a very satisfying case because she, every time I can say she's become my raving fan and she keeps talking about how my sessions have helped her, very basic as become a better networker. She started opening up. She started seeing differently. She has stopped talking negatively about people around, how she started feeling peace at herself. She has started sleeping better. She obviously feels very more positive and smiling at me nowadays. She's not crying or having those sad moments anymore. So that is a very positive case that I feel that I have. And I've also had people who are stuck in earlier businesses come out of their stuck feeling and get onto a new system, stuck relationships and come out of it. So many examples I can give on. I can also give you an example of a person who was not having a very happy relationship with his wife. And now, he tells me that because Nitika, I'm in touch with you, I don't shout anymore. Many a times I feel ki chilla ke khatam karte, but I feel at peace when I'm not doing that. So a lot of difference which is being made, I can see.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So, which means that there are changes that somebody can bring about in their own self once they've analyzed, or rather, once you analyzed for them. There are certain issues, right, with either their personality or their behavior or whatever else, and then they can bring about those changes.
Yes.
So, does that then mean that their handwriting will change?
The handwriting will change. So it is, say again, it is what you're saying is a very big thing. Handwriting is a very big thing.
Ah,
But pattern of the handwriting would change.
would change.
It
Okay.
could also mean that when you see at somebody's handwriting, you would feel, wow, the handwriting started looking clearer, neater.
Okay.
It does not always mean that that entire cupboard or the entire house is clean now. It could
Ah,
mean that part where
that
the
part is
mess
clear.
was, now it has decluttered. It could also
Okay.
mean that. It
Okay.
depends again. It might be that the person has started getting more organized. Or I have this very interesting story about one professor also, which I can share here.
Sure.
There
Go
was
ahead.
so I said this, it is about the forgetful professor,
Okay.
where he was writing his first name as his signature, and his first name had the small lowercase I, and he
Okay.
would forget to put that dot on that I.
Right.
And when I saw that, and he had come to me that, Nitika, I forget a lot of things. I forget my mobile, my bike keys, my lecture timing. In fact, I've also forgotten yesterday. I had given time to my girlfriend and I forgot about it.
Okay.
So help me with this. And I told him that consciously, start putting this I dot and write it 21 times for these many days and etc. And he came to me after a month and he told me, ki, Nitika, it is 70-80% better. So I said, perfect, go on with it. So he's like, what about the rest 20-30%? So I told him it is not required. Go ahead. There are many things which you should forget in life. You should not remember all of them because that will become a challenge in itself then. So he told me, okay, now what? And then I asked him, do you have any other problem? So he said, no. And then you're good to go. So he's asking me, did you charge me for that dot? And I told him, yeah, I charged you because I knew where the problem area was. So the experience that I know only this is the problem. So even an extra dot is a problem. No dot is a problem. So it is also on anything you do with that pen on that paper, I can analyze and I can tell you what is the smallest problem or something big, and it would change your
So
perspective.
you mean having an extra dot is also a problem?
Oh, a bigger problem.
Oh, really? Okay. Can you uncover that a bit?
I have this one client from around 5 to 7 years, and from that many years, she has an extra dot which she is unable to remove.
So while writing, she writes I with two dots, for
No,
example,
the signature has
or the signature has.
one extra dot, which is not required, and there is a problem. And yes, it is an extra dot is also a problem. Anything extra is a problem, no?
Okay.
Anything extra. People even in our lives, anything extra is a problem. If suppose I am working out, I can say 45 minutes to an hour in the day. Now, suppose if I'm working out every day for 4 to 5 hours extra, not required, which will be a problem. If I'm sleeping for more than 8-9 hours, it is a problem. Something which needs to be repaired.
Fantastic. So, and therefore, since you mentioned that, let's say, uh, handwriting has got everything to do with whatever is happening in somebody's life, right? I mean, it's obviously if you go deeper, you will be able to understand that person's life more, much more, and then help make them to make changes. So, I mean, theoretically speaking, can somebody change their life by changing their handwriting?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
I can say
So,
yes. I'm a true example of that. I changed my signature and my life changed.
oh, okay. That's interesting. So, I mean, how does that happen? I mean, you got to do it over a period of time, or I mean,
So see, first thing
how do
I
you
will
do
say,
that?
yes. So see, I will here also say the will. Okay. If your intent is to do it,
Mhm.
if you're really looking forward to get some changes in your life, okay, you
Okay.
will be getting it faster. Okay. If somebody else is pushing you, it would take a little time to first make you understand that how much it is required. Now,
Okay.
when you say, I will give you a very basic understanding out of it, what you write is because of what is going on in your mind, correct?
Okay.
Now, I will tell you, or we can guide you to write in a certain way to change that thinking, what is going on in your mind. Okay. As soon as that gets in your subconscious mind, you will start seeing changes in your life.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it is
So
very
you
easy.
actually write what you want to do.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Interesting. All right. Okay. Now tell me something about this specific mission that you have. Yeah. So, you want to empower 1 million people, is what you say. So, tell me about that. I mean, that sounded grand and it sounds very, very interesting. So, if you can.
So this mission started with from the time I started working with children,
Right.
and I can say 2018 when I started working with children, where I started seeing that there were certain very small things what these children would have, and how a small pattern change or a signature change would get them, places where, for example, they would be accepted, they would pop up, and a lot of things. So
Right.
I started this, that why not go on to a handwriting beautification with children. And then it also started with that in COVID, when there was a lockdown and a lot of children having free time. So I helped, I can say, more than 500 kids have a beautiful handwriting remaining, their traits remaining intact. So now, after COVID eased, and I have a lot of inquiries and all, and also because I want to support a lot of children who are
Mm.
not able to afford that much. So I have built this one online program on YouTube, handwriting beautification and empowering program, which it is for children as well as for adults. And
Right.
that will help you build a cursive writing for your own writing whenever you are writing. And it is a very self-explanatory program. It is around 1.5 hours of 5 videos, total 5 videos, and it is a total of 1.5 hours, where it is you can replay and check and write your own, change your own handwriting in a way. It is a step-by-step guided program. And now I
Oh.
am on this, that I want to sell this for, around 1 million people for just, 51 rupees or something like that. A very small amount, where I want to help street children, children from poor background, slum areas. We also deal with a lot of children. I'm also a part of these several schools where the Didwania Trust also works. So I want to help all these children get on to. So the main mission is, let us build a better world. We are here, the adults are here wanting and looking forward to correct things. Why
Right.
not start correct? If I talk about, I give this example about a pen drive, that here,
Mm.
for example, you and me will have to delete certain things, empty the recycle bin, and then go on to adding new things.
Right.
With children, why not we start?
Hmm.
Okay, as the cursive writing is just eliminated from schools and all, I want to bring it back and tell them that how important it is to write in a flow, for your flow of thoughts to be the right in a same thing. So this is the exact mission, that start writing again. In fact, my TED talk was also about it, that in the world that
Yeah.
types, start writing again. That how
Yeah.
journaling, how writing letters, how small notes, chits, and things can improve any problem, challenge that you're facing in life. And
Correct. So that was going to be my next question. I mean, you're talking so much about writing, but very little writing that we do these days. I think other than writing my to-do list of what I want to do in the morning, uh, and I still think I'm old school from that perspective. So, you do very little writing otherwise. I mean, earlier you used to write so much more. So, ये कैसे करें? I mean, how does one manage this in an IT
See,
driven world?
Vipul, it is, similar to saying earlier people used to walk a lot, and
Yeah,
nowadays we don't. We
yeah,
are subconsciously walking. The car stops outside the mall, and we are
yeah.
walking inside the mall. The car stops outside the building, and we are walking up to the house. Okay, we don't even realize when we are walking, or now when I can say when trainers tell or dietitians keep please start walking, we are going to the gym and walking, correct, on a treadmill,
Correct.
correct. Now similarly,
You drive to go for a walk.
yes, exactly. Now here when you are telling me this, it is also on when you are signing or when you are picking up the pen, it is so in our subconscious mind. If now a bell rings and the courier guy comes, you will just go rush, sign and come and sit back, and you will not even realize that you held a pen.
Right.
Correct? So now if you want to see some changes in a very easier way, pen is the tool. Pick it up and see. Or else there are going to be therapists, there are going to be medicines. But before all of this, attempt writing consciously. And when you're saying, I mentioned this, you are able to, why are you still writing your to-do lists in the morning? Because you have the intent inside to complete that.
Correct.
As soon as you write
Absolutely.
it,
Yeah.
it gets so I can say hammered to your brain that you know that you have to do this. You would never be late for those things. You would be completing it. You would be tick marking, making a point on that this is done because you're handwriting it.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, that's the only reason I actually write it because, anything that gets written in that, so this book is that one. And anything that gets written in this gets done. So,
Yes,
I always make it a point to write in this so that I
definitely.
am able to do it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I have these small chits of, in fact, I met this one female who had, I was wearing a very pretty sari and she gave me a handwritten note that Nitika, you are wearing the sari with great pose and I am liking the way you're carrying it. She had written a small note and given it to me. It is, trust me, still there with me. And although so many people, I will say, compliment us and all, those ones say, it takes one click, delete all, message is gone.
True.
And these
Absolutely.
small handwritten notes will be there with us.
We'll stick around for a while.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they will be precious and they will matter to us.
Sure. So we'll take a question now from the community. So this question is from Sakshi Shetty.
Okay.
So she's saying, is there a handwriting audit people can do yearly to reflect on personal growth? I think it's a very interesting question. So let's say somebody wants to undertake self growth.
Okay.
So is there a annual audit kind of a thing that they can do?
So here I want to say that there are certain people whom I know who are having the same handwriting, same signature from more than 25 years. Nothing changed. And when I talk to them, they also tell me that they have been in the same corporate office, working for the same company for that many years. Nothing changed. Yes, the height going up, the profile increasing, but nothing else has changed. The same 9 to 5 job they are doing. The life is routine, monotonous from years together, and they have the same handwriting.
Right.
Although I also know people who will every 3 months start something new.
Okay.
For example, Vipul has just started podcasting. Now he might think, oh, this is very lucrative. Let me attempt that. And this might, okay. And there are also people who are doing 3 months of gym and then 3 months of yoga and then 3 months of Pilates and then 3 months
Correct.
of nothing. So these people will tend to have different writings, or they will also come to me and say, Nitika, the bank signature doesn't match. And
Yeah.
the RM is calling me every time, and the check is not getting cleared, etc. So there are two types of people. Now, if you say yearly audit and all, you don't need 3 months is enough for a person to change a mindset. So a person who would change their handwriting or is really looking for growth would change their handwriting very fast. And it would show, again, let me mention it here, handwriting is a big term. Certain traits would change. Okay.
I guess that's what she means.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
let's say
example,
somebody
the
is looking
why.
at, adding a few talents or capabilities and, figure out at the end of the year
Yeah.
whether they've been able to. So that should be possible, right?
Yes.
I mean,
So then there is a thing called graphotherapy, okay,
graph-
which goes on to the subconscious mind without. So it is, for example, saying if I say I am optimistic, I think positive. Instead of saying this, I will give you a pattern that do this. It is a
Mhm.
pattern. Do this, and you will see it automatically coming to you. Okay. After
Okay.
that, you will see that your handwriting goes elevated, your handwriting goes clearer. You are open to certain things. So that happens. And yes, every 3 months, I should say, if the handwriting changes, you should get an analysis done.
Okay.
Yes.
So Sakshi, the answer is every 3 months and not every year. Because that's the
The
kind
change
of
is coming. Yes, it will come in 90 days. 90 days is
90
enough to
days
make a
is what.
habit and a pattern. Yes.
All right. Okay. So, this whole podcast is all about business networking. And, you are a very natural networker. In fact, the reason that I met you was because you used to keep winning awards for inviting maximum number of people, right? And month after month, you've been getting awards for inviting people. And that's how actually I got to know you, because you kept winning awards. So I mean, one of the things I know about you, you get along very easily with people. So tell us your experience as a business networker. I mean, how has it been as a member of BNI, and how's that journey been for you?
So I never knew that, this would give me so much of recognition.
Okay.
As I earlier mentioned, that I come from a very big family, knowing a lot of people, talking to people of different age groups, talking of people from different genres, and talking to anybody is very easy for me, is what I can say, has what given me recognition, and so much of it that I myself was in awe of it so many times. And today I realize that because of it, what all I have got, what all it is, I can just keep counting my blessings, that I am so blessed and success comes so easy to me, so easy that people who have not done certain things in, I can say, in my group from 12 years and all, and I have done it all in a year, which is
Okay.
very astonishing even for me. And it makes me feel, okay, this is some quality which could also be recognized. Now,
Okay.
coming to it, I can say that when you're true to your own self, okay,
Mm.
and when you love doing what you do, you will reflect. So there are people who can say, Nitika, what you're saying, we can read it in your eyes, because this is actually what has happened. And I don't need to, hide around things that, nahi, nahi, acha hi hai, aake dekh lo. I will tell them what I have. I have like proofs. In my drawing room, the wall is filled with awards.
Mm.
And when I can say boast about it or have very proud feeling about it, it shows. I will
Right.
not have a fake smile for it.
Correct.
Correct. And it also gives me a reason to do it more. The more I kept winning it, the more I felt that, wow, it is so beautiful. And when I see, so there is this one female in my group who has joined through me. She is my induction. And now when I see her, giving a presentation, I see her meeting people, I see her living her dreams. It feels so nice inside that, yes, I have here changed somebody's life for the better. So
Right.
that is all giving me a push to do it all the more, and I'm very proud of it. So yes, it comes to me very naturally. I think these
Correct.
days
That's why I
it
said
is
you're a
in my DNA.
natural networker.
Yes, I think it is also in my DNA that I have seen my family getting along with everybody. And there were always a lot of people in my house where, and we were never shy that, I'm shy, I will not talk to this, aunt or this uncle or something. We would always talk to everybody. And it became something which I got recognition for, which is, I think, and say thanks to BNI. I have all gratitude towards BNI and the journey.
Sure. Okay, great. So you were part of your chapter's leadership team also, right? I
Yes, I
mean,
was the vice president.
you were the vice president. So tell us about how did the experience of being on the leadership team make a difference to you in your business and in your day-to-day life?
See, being a member of a chapter is like, being one among the group.
Right.
Okay, when you get a chance to be on the leadership table, when you get to actually give your vision, share your vision with people around, help
Correct.
them, and it gave me another kind of high, I can say. And when I used to meet other leaders in the LTRT and talk about
Right.
common interests and what they are doing and what we are doing for support in the chapter, and it gave me a lot of insight. I can say it grew me as a leader,
Mhm.
that how I can be approachable, how I should be, understanding towards different problems, because I have always been a member. And now when I was in the leadership role, I came to know that people have so many different problems, which I could never think of if I was not a leader there.
Yeah.
So I am very grateful that I got this opportunity and I could serve the chapter very well. And we did a lot of things at that time where I used to feel all very enthusiastic, and I took it up very well. I would honestly look forward.
And how did that help you in your business? I mean, if there's I mean, firstly, did that, and if that did, how did it help you?
See, it is a very simple saying, Vipul, that how you do anything is how you do everything.
Okay.
Okay, inviting visitors itself gave me a very high in my business.
Correct.
Okay, it just, I can say in the past 2-3 years, my business has just gone 5x, 6x. Okay, so it has given me a very high. Then being in the leadership role and serving. So when you give something, you also get back. Givers gain is the philosophy of BNI. And the more I kept giving, the more I kept gaining. And
Yeah.
I took it, I can say, grabbed all the opportunities with both the hands. I don't remember saying no to some opportunity that comes my way. I can just be around and enjoy all the things that I keep getting.
True. Okay, very interesting. I mean, that's nice to know. So if you come across somebody who's still very hesitant, is not very sure whether he or she has to do networking to grow their business, what would be your one word of advice to them?
I generally ask people, do you have a Mercedes standing down there? Or are you satisfied with your own life and your business? If you're not looking for growth, stop meeting people, because in any other way of growing is meeting more people, is networking. And I will say BNI is, what I have experienced, is the largest organization referral based. The way you will get business here, a very small thing I will say, yesterday I was talking to somebody and that person asked me, so why are you buying a car from a person in BNI? Why haven't you asked other, showrooms around or agents around? And I told him, when I told him this, he agreed so much. I told him that person from whom I'm buying the car will eventually look for some work for me, and no other showroom or an agent will ever think of giving me work.
Correct.
And he was like, oh, this is so true. So I believe in that, where you are a part of, be your 100% and see it growing. Because anyways, you are going to give work outside. Why not give it in your community?
Correct.
It is like I giving a cake order to my sister. Okay, there are a lot of cake shops around. I can also tell her, I want this and that and the perfection. Now, this example, if I'm saying this chapter member, he is not calling me anyway to sign the papers. He's going to come home and meet me with my convenience and everything. So that all is added advantage. So
Right.
if people are looking to, I will say, when should you join? I will say now is the time. That
Now is the
join
time.
a networking platform and see, and I will give it all to BNI because it is the most clear, most transparent system which I have seen. It is, I can also see what is Vipul doing here and how well he is in BNI, what is happening, everything. So it is
Right.
very transparent, which I like the beauty about it, that it is something which I am glad I joined.
Superb. So on that note, Nitika, I would like to thank you for giving the time and being so open with all your answers and answering every question, patiently and with, a lot of detail. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. And I wish you all the very best going forward.
Thank you, Vipul. It was an honor being on your platform, and I look forward to collaborate more and work.
Sure.
And thank you all for being there. I could hear a lot of known names when you were asking questions, and I'm glad all of them joined in live. And I thank everybody for all the support that I always get.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Vipul. Have a great day.